Players of what musical instrument gather together in large cities just to play Christmas music? Find out this week. Come on, it's music time. Today I'm here with Miss Hannah Reed. She is the middle school band teacher here at Stevens Middle School, and she happens to play the tuba. So let's ask her some questions about the tuba today. Okay, so why did you start playing the tuba?
I started playing tuba because my band needed a tuba player. I was a 7th grader, and my band director, Mr. Womack, love him, he told the class, hey, we don't have any tuba players in our band, and we need one. And I was, sitting on the back playing trumpet, and I said, I don't really know what a tuba is, but I'll do that, I guess. And then I played it, and it went okay, and now I still play the tuba.
Interesting. So I was wondering, how does the tuba work?
Well, like any brass instrument, you have what's called a mouthpiece, where you do something that's called buzzing. This is like a giant bucket of a mouthpiece, but yeah, it sounds like this. And really, the tuba itself acts as like an amp. Like if you have an electric guitar and you plug it into an amp, you can do all sorts of things. You can do things that'll change the pitch, but you could play the electric guitar on its own, much like you could play the mouthpiece on its own. No one really likes doing that, but they do it anyways. So yeah, you do the same thing. You buzz into the tuba, and you can make different notes. And then we have what's called valves. These happen to be rotary valves, where you change the pitch with these. And these, when you press one down, it makes the instrument a little bit longer. If I just press this one down, now the air goes through this tube, or well, goes through here, blah, 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 circles around, goes to this tube, and eventually out the bell. Yeah, the tuba can go very low. It can go pretty high, up into treble clef range. I'm not warmed up. We'll see how it goes. Something like that. And yeah, it can play soloistically. It can play some fun bass lines, stuff like that. Yeah, it's a fun instrument to play.
See, I haven't seen the tuba played very often. Where could I find people playing the tuba?
Well, you would find them, usually there's one in any symphony orchestra. Any sort of band will have at least one, probably more tubas. You can find them in marching band with those big old sousaphones, and in all sorts of crazy situations, one being Tuba Christmas, where a bunch of tuba players gather together all across the world and play Christmas music once a year. It's a fantastic time. I love it. Yeah.
Where is Tuba Christmas?
There are many different Tuba Christmases. Every major city will have one across the country.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have any cool stories about the tuba?
Yes. One time I was in middle school. Funny story. We had a concert at the high school, and my baby middle school self was lost, and I had to carry my tuba, which was about the same size as this one, across the campus, and I was a little baby middle schooler, and I was kind of struggling, and a custodian rolls by with a trash can, and he's like, you can put the tuba in there and I'll wheel it for you. And I was like, no, it's okay, that's okay. And he was like, no, really? And then I did. It was empty. There was nothing in the trash can. There's no trash, just a tuba. And that's how I got my tuba across a high school campus once.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us all of your knowledge about the tuba. Miss Hannah Reed, it's been simply a pleasure.
Yeah, of course. You can play your own tuba when you join band in 6th grade or in middle school or whatever that may be.
Now let's head on over to Rhythms with Mr. Cobb.
Hey everyone, Mr. Cobb here with our Rhythm segment for this week. You may remember in the first few episodes of Music Time, we used the pink rhythm cards to practice our rhythms. Well, if you have a younger brother or sister, they will still be using those cards in the rhythm segments for this week. But since we're a little bit older, we're going to transition. We're going to go from the pink, what we learned on the pink rhythm cards, and use those for reading music on a piece of sheet music. The piece we're using today for practicing our rhythms is called Be a Good Student, and it's one of the Yellow Belt level songs that you can find in the Recorders section of your Music Google Classroom. If you want to try this piece later and on your recorder and you're not sure how to find it, make sure you check in with the music teacher at your building and they'll help you figure out how to get it. For right now though, you don't need your recorder, you just need your hands. Our song today uses ta, or quarter notes, two, or half notes, sh, or quarter rests, and sh, or double rest, or half rest. But because the tempo on this piece of music moves pretty fast, we're not going to say all of the shushes today. We're going to concentrate on saying the tas and the twos, but we're still going to count those rests. You'll get the hang of it once we get into it. Let's get started. All right, everybody. Here we have Be a Good Student for our rhythm today. We're going to start at the top and work our way all the way to the bottom. A couple things you need to know to navigate this piece correctly is there are some repeat signs. When you get down here, it automatically takes you back up here to measure 9. And you'll notice it does that 3 times. The third time we get up here, we'll be chugging along, and when we get to this symbol, the coda, we have to find the other target on the page, which is down here. And that target helps us get out of the song, otherwise we'd never escape. All right, remember we're only going to be concentrating on the tas and the twos. All of these rests we are going to count, but we're not going to say shh, shh, shh for each one, unless you want to try that at home. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ta, ta. 1, 2, 3. Ta, ta. 1, 2, 3. Ta, ta. Ta, ta, ta. Ta, ta, ta. Ta, ta, ta. Ta, ta, ta. Here come some twos. 2, 2. 2, 2. 2, 2. Ta, 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 ta. Coming up to measure 25. Ta, ta, 2. Ta, ta, 2. Ta, ta, 2. Ta, 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 ta. Repeat sign. Back to measure 9. Ta, ta. I'm gonna let you fly solo. Ta, ta, ta. 13. Ta, ta. Ta, ta, ta. Coming up to 17. 2, 2. 2, 2. Keep flying solo. Ta, ta, ta. Coming up to 25. Ta, ta, 2. Ta, ta, 2. Ta, ta, 2. Ta, ta, ta. Back to measure 9. You're on your own. Ta, ta. Ta, ta, ta. Coming up to 13. Ta, ta, ta. Ta, ta, ta. Now we take that coda. 2, ta, ta. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, ta, ta. You did it. Nice job. Well, that's going to do it for Rhythms with Mr. Cobb for this week. Remember, you can go back and clap along with this segment again so you get really good at reading the rhythms while you keep your place in the music. Knowing where you are in the music is going to become super important for being a successful recorder player. All right, we'll see you later.
Hey, now let's head over to Elements of Music with Miss Kramer.
Hi, my friends. So this week for Elements of Music, we are going to go on a little treasure hunt. We are going to be unlocking the secret code to reading music. Come on, let's check it out. What's that? What's the treasure, you ask? Well, everyone loves cracking a good code, right? Well, let's get started and go find out. So I thought we'd use a song called Be a Good Student for our next adventure into reading music. It's a fun recorder song that is fast and loud. Instead of playing it for you right now, though, I just want us to first look at what the sheet music for the song looks like. It's pretty cool, huh? There are a ton of symbols on here that will help us figure out how to play this song. Some of them are symbols that we already even know. I'll bet you've already spotted a few. So let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. So, right at the beginning of the music, we can learn a lot about how to play this song. First, let's look at these big numbers, 4 over 4. This is called a 4/4 time signature. Remember when we've been talking about keeping time or the steady beat of a song? Well, this tells you what that steady beat is. It means that there are 4 beats per measure. Oh, hey, do you know what a measure is? Well, let's take a look. Those long lines that you see going across the sheet make up what we call the music staff. It's made of 5 lines and 4 spaces. You see here that we number them from the bottom to the top. Here are the lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here are the spaces 1, 2, 3, 4. They are in between the lines. And when we divide the staff into sections, each section is called a measure. Our song has been divided up into a lot of measures. All of the measures are numbered, and it's important, especially when you are playing music with others, to be able to know what measure you're playing. So there's something in our music that can help you with that. It's another part of the code. Can you see it? Yeah, check it out. There are numbers written in every 4 measures. They are markers that you can use instead of having to count all the way from the beginning each time. Pretty cool. 5 here at the beginning of this measure means that is measure 5. Let's just check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 here at the beginning of this measure means that this is measure 9, and so on. So now if the conductor or another player says, okay, so let's start playing at measure 18, you can find the measure closest to it and figure it out. Here's 17, so the next measure would be 18. Let's start playing at measure 8. Well, you could find 9 and then go back 1. It's a lot easier, huh? Okay, so now remember when we were looking at the 4/4 time signature and we said that it meant 4 beats per measure? Well, that means that every measure gets 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And it's here that you see some of the symbols that we already know. The whole rest gets all 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. The half rest gets 2 beats. 1, 2. plus the quarter rest gets 1 beat, so that would be 3. And then the quarter note, it gets 1 beat, so that would be 4. So there's our 4 beats right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The quarter note, 1. Quarter rest, 1. Half rest, 2. There's our 4 beats here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see it? Remember what Mrs. Eyestone said? Music is math. Hey, cool beans. So let's go on and finish it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's check out the treble clef. Do you see it? Yep, there it is. So we know that music has high notes and low notes. What the treble clef means is that the notes on this staff are the higher of the notes of the whole musical scale. Here are the low notes going up higher and higher to the higher notes. The lower notes are on the bass clef, and the higher notes, starting right here at middle C, are on the treble clef. So, the treble clef at the beginning of our staff tells us that we will be using all higher notes from the music scale. So, we're going to stop there for this week. Woo! That was a lot of information just from the beginning of the music, and we didn't even get all the way through it. Remember that if you're a younger student, this is just a chance to get to see music and see what it looks like, to start to hear about some of the symbols so that someday, soon, you will be able to be a music code cracker. Next week, we'll continue our journey and find our pathway through. Until then, happy treasure hunting.
Now, let's head over to voice class. With Mrs. Eyestone.
Pick that cup. Move along now.
February is Black History Month, so for voice class, I'd like to focus on the rich musical heritage of the African Americans. In fact, most of the popular music that we listen to today came from the musical traditions of the Black community, but we'll learn more about that in later lessons. Their start in our country was the most difficult you can imagine. They were captured in their homelands in Africa and brought to America to be sold as slaves. That's about the hardest life anyone could live. Music is what helped them survive and sometimes escape. They could express their sorrow, soothe their souls, and encourage their hearts. Their masters liked hearing them sing in the fields because it made them think that they were working harder. But actually what they were doing was communicating to each other. Sometimes in messages with code that their masters didn't understand, and sometimes it was just something to help pass the time, to keep them going. One very popular song form that came directly from Africa is the call and response song. While the slaves worked in the field, the lead voice would call out and the others would respond. John the Rabbit is one of those call and response songs that the slaves would sing while working out in the field. Now, their hands would be way too busy working to be tapping or clapping or snapping, but we're going to add that into our version just for fun. I'm going to call out a response, and you're going to answer with, "Yes, ma'am." We're going to sing through it 3 times. So the first time it will be tapping. The second time we're going to do a slide clap with, "Yes, ma'am." And the third time we're going to add snapping. "Yes, ma'am." Okay? As we sing through the song, you may start catching on to that melody, and if you would like to, you're welcome to join me singing the words, okay? Ready? Here we go. Oh, John the rabbit, yes ma'am, had a mighty habit, yes ma'am, jumping in my garden, yes ma'am, cutting down my cabbage, yes ma'am, my fresh tomatoes, yes ma'am, my sweet potatoes, yes ma'am, and if I live, yes ma'am, to see next fall, yes ma'am, I ain't gonna have, yes ma'am, no cotton at all, yes ma'am. Oh, John the rabbit, yes ma'am, had a mighty habit, yes ma'am, jumping in my garden, yes ma'am, cutting down my cabbage, yes ma'am, my fresh tomatoes, yes ma'am, my sweet potatoes, yes ma'am, and if I live, yes ma'am, to see next fall, yes ma'am, I ain't gonna have, yes ma'am, no cotton at all, yes ma'am. Oh, John the rabbit, yes ma'am, had a mighty habit, yes ma'am, jumping in my garden, yes ma'am, cutting down my cabbage, yes ma'am, my fresh tomatoes, yes ma'am, my sweet potatoes, yes ma'am, and if I live, yes ma'am, to see next fall, yes ma'am, I ain't gonna have, yes ma'am, no cotton at all, yes ma'am. Here's a call and response song sung by the slaves called Go On Round Rabbit, or Go On Around Rabbit. The slaves weren't allowed to have drums or other percussion instruments, so instead they used body percussion. And this song is a great example of that. In this song, the response is rabbit, and you tap, clap, snap, and in fact you blend it all together in one fluid motion like this. Rabbit, okay? Rabbit. Now, the words go super fast, so all you need to worry about is rabbit. But if you've heard this song before and you'd like to sing with me, go ahead. At the end of the song, I'll slow it down and break it down and teach you the words, okay? Ready? Here we go. My dog treat a rabbit, my dog treat a rabbit. Gonna watch that critter sitting on that log, gonna watch that critter how he do that dog. Now go on around rabbit, now go on around rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit, my dog treat a rabbit. Gonna milk that cow, gonna catch her by the tail, gonna milk her in a coffee pot and pour it in the pail. Now go on around rabbit, now go on around rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit, my dog treat a rabbit. My rabbit's getting, my rabbit's got, my rabbit's getting that turn up top. Now go on around rabbit, now go on around rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit, my dog treat a rabbit. Gonna watch that critter sitting on that log, gonna watch that critter how he do that dog. Now go on around rabbit, now go on around rabbit. Good. So now I'm gonna slow it down and break it down so you can learn it. I'll sing a phrase, you echo after me, okay? Here I go. My dog treat a rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit. Gonna watch that critter sitting on that log. Gonna watch that critter how he do that dog. Now go on round rabbit. Now go on round rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit. Gonna milk that cow, gonna catch her by the tail. Gonna milk her in a coffee pot and pour it in the pail. Now go on round rabbit. Now go on round rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit. My dog treat a rabbit. My rabbit's getting, my rabbit's got. My rabbit's getting that turn up top. Now go on round rabbit. Now go on round rabbit. Good. Now you just go back and you repeat that first verse. So if you'd like to, rewind and sing along with me.
Hey everyone, welcome to Recorder Corner for this week. Today we're going to be looking at the notes B and A. The song we're going to be using is called B.A. Rockstar, and I'll be pointing along with you in the music to help you keep your place. It is mostly half notes, so the rhythm you should be able to follow pretty well. What I want you to concentrate today on is making sure you're using your left hand, B one finger, and A two fingers. Remember your posture, stand or sit tall, and don't blow too much air through your recorder. If you get lost, remember you can always start over. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. All right, remember you can go back and do this one again if you want to. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us this week. I don't know if you know it, but we really have a blast making all these videos for you. Well, you know what? We'll see you next week, right here for Music Time. Bye-bye.